Hey, good evening, everybody. Sammy Thunder here. Welcome back to another edition of Vintage Chill and Chat. It's a pleasure to share this opportunity to hang out with everybody. It's about 7:30 now, so we're kind of kickstarting the weekend forward, and so I thought I'd jump on a live stream to kind of chat with you guys and just to kind of see what you guys have planned for the weekend, if there's any card shows or if there's anything that you're doing that's card related. Um, the plans that I have are tomorrow is to go to a flea market in Stormville, New York. And I missed out on all the chances that I had to check out the Stormville. They have the yard sale, the flea market. The yard sale is the bigger of the two. But what I really, really enjoy about going to Stormville is one, parking is incredibly easy, so you can very easily find a spot and quickly get yourself to the flea market. And two, on a good day, there's a lot of card vendors and also some stuff that you wouldn't probably expect to find. But like I found a record player that I currently have in my apartment that I use, and I got paid like $25 for it. And it's kind of like an all-in-one, although now that record player is on the kind of on the end of its life cycle, but got good use out of it for $25. A lot of good vinyl. Uh, so I had an option. I had the alternative to do a card show tomorrow, as there was an invitation open, but I'm doing one on Sunday. So the Sunday show is in Milford. I've done videos there before, done card show vlogs there before, and it's always been a lot of fun going setting up there. Ned is a good promoter and takes care of everybody. So I've been loyal to his show for months in and months out now. It's probably been over a year that I've been doing his show, and I bring a good crowd there. I have a lot of I think a lot of my YouTube community or some of like some people in the area come and say hello and visit. So I don't know if you've seen from the inventory. I've made some big inventory purchases. A lot of great raw sharp cards that I'll have with me for the Milford show, and so I'm really really looking forward to setting that up. I always love setting up at a show with fresh inventory. And I never really plan ahead in terms of how I'm going to lay things out. It's kind of just, it's especially with new inventory when I set up and I'm going through the lot of cards, it's kind of fun to make those last minute decisions in terms of what goes in the display case and what goes kind of like on the table for people to pick up and look at. Obviously, the higher end stuff will kind of take priority and will go into the display case. So a lot of these cards, anything like over $100, I think generally would go into my display case because my inventory is not so massive to the point where I can leave $100 cards out there, and it's also not that deep. A lot of the stuff that I have is, I don't know, anywhere in the display case would range anywhere between like 100 to $600-700 in terms of value, and then everything outside of that would be under $100. And of course, I have my $10 bargain bin box and some 25-cent cards, 50-cent cards, and so forth. I did want to take you guys through what Stormville looks like. So I primed up a video for everybody to watch. It's not a very long video, but I focused exclusively on the vendors that had cards. Just checking in. Hey, Sooner, how you doing, bud? Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it, man. But let me bring the full screen up on the Stormville video that I did. This is probably about a year ago that I did this video, so I'm going to show it to you guys now. I'll do some supportive commentary so that y'all can enjoy. So let me get that up and running here. Great. So this is the Stormville yard sale. This is one of the bigger events that happen. And so I'll take you through it. Let me see if turn the speaker up a little bit. Forgive me, this is kind of early on the channel. We're still kind of learning how to properly record these cards.
Too much steroids. All the steroids. He ain't the only one out there. I know. The giant guy.
Prices are,
You ready for your amazing price overall? Sure. $60. All right.
I think this is Steve's table. If I
That's
remember right.
how he said the same thing to me.
Steve was a good guy. Steve's a good guy, man. I like him. He's a good
That's the
dealer.
one.
Sets up at the county center show.
Look at the guy was nice about it. Look at them over there.
I don't think some of your letters have.
Oh, there's the
You got
the Brooks Robinson. I bought that Brooks Robinson.
I want to know what you get on that grade. I'm really excited. I want you to get a 6.5, 7 so badly.
Don't think so. Get a 7.
I wound up buying that card. Stormville is, you never know what you're going to find there. I remember finding a,
That's all right. Thank you. No problem.
what was it, a bunch of top backpacks. Classic. I love these. NBA hoops. Can't get enough of those. Gotta find a Jordan in there. Obviously, I don't think there was one in there. Isaiah Thomas. Unless I skipped over it. Whatever he wants, the Jordan. You can never get enough of those NBA hoops cards, obviously. I'm sorry, I know it's a little dizzying. Oh, this is the Newburgh Antique Emporium. Oh, this guy, yeah. This guy still has, I think he's...
Okay, welcome back, y'all.
All right.
I hope you enjoyed.
So, yeah, it was a while ago. I'm actually wearing the same shirt. So, yeah. So the Stormville, I know I have another video lying around there somewhere. I might take a look while I'm chatting with you guys to see if I can find it. But because I did multiple trips to Stormville over a year ago. And so if I can find the one that, yeah, there might be some ones. Let's see, flea market finds. I think it's this video. I'll show it. Let's see if I can bring it up. Hopefully. All right, let me see if I can prime it. Yeah, this would be good. So I'm going to show you another. Sorry, I know I was kind of getting a little distracted there. I'm going to show you the this Stormville video, which kind of gives you more of I did more of like a walkthrough, whereas the first video I just showed you is more of a kind of like just focusing on the cards. So this is what, just for anyone that's just joining, I'm going to this flea market tomorrow, and just for fun, you never know, I might find something cool there. But this Stormville flea market's the opening, so I imagine there will be a big crowd there because of the first one of the year. So let me bring this one up. Perfect. This is kind of more of a walkthrough. You can kind of get a vibe for all the different tents.
But anyway,
It's kind of fun to watch this over again because there's things that I probably wasn't interested in then that I'm probably interested in now. Some 55s, and like a mix of 70s, 60s, and 50s in there. I think I went through this. Got some, of course, some Mets 80s. Frank Robinson for $3. Not too bad of a price, I'd say. 89 rack packs. I think I bought. Ooh, these were good. I think somebody. I remember this. Somebody ended up buying all of those when I returned. I bought the 69 tops because I think that guy had some in there. He had some good prices. I'm gonna have to look for that guy. See if he still has a nice, healthy stack of some vintage basketball. I mean, this is obviously over a year ago, so or more than that probably by now because I didn't go last year. This is 2022, if I had to guess. A lot of modern in there. On the Bo Jackson. I think I bought that card for $3. Pretty nice. It's not that it's uncommon, but kind of fun to see a Bo Jackson rookie card. Saw that Mickey Mantle. All right, some autograph cards. Magazines. So yeah, this is. I mean, it's gonna be fun to check this out. I just love walking around flea markets. They're really something. Oh, this was awesome. I gotta stop here for a minute. I regret not buying this. I don't know if there's a lot of value in this, but uncut sheets of 76 tops, and you see the Johnny Bench and the Jim Rice and the Stargell right behind it. I regret not buying this. Let me see if how much footage I have from this, because I remember seeing it, and even to this day, I kind of think, oh man, I should have gotten that. Uncut sheets. Well, sort of uncut sheets, I guess. But yeah, what could have been? I don't know. I can't remember what the guy was asking either. Just checking in here. Hey, Orlando. Keegan, I'm not sure if I'm going to let anybody in, so, because I mean, I have, have a beer. I have a beer, and it's probably not best if I just do this on my own tonight. But just kind of reintroducing. So, anyway, this guy has some vintage oddball. I remember this guy's table set up.
Had an update on baseball and stuff, and sure enough, there was an article on the Mets in '69. Before they.
Some of that stuff that's in there.
They were in second place.
Yeah. The Gil Hodges, that's for $1. I don't know what that is back there. You see the Roy Campanella up here as well. Got some cool stuff. I wish I knew, I mean, I was still collecting more of the traditional stuff at that point. So, but yeah, I kind of going back to some junk wax.
They have one Blue Al Cinder on the cover.
Yeah.
And then they have the article about the Mets winning the World Series.
Pretty cool. The old timers game. Congratulations. That would have been cool to pick up. $80. Look at that bird. Look at the price they're going for back at that point, 2022. 25 for a Frank Robinson. Not bad for if it's in good shape.
I just told them it's a car show.
I would have done that.
Do you break or it's just vintage?
Just vintage. Yeah. More walkthrough now. So Stormville is set up in an airstrip, or gotta love it. Whenever you see something like that, all the tops, clearance store, junk wax pack, it definitely captures attention. I think I bought a box from this guy, just a pack break. I think it was like 91 tops.
No, I don't go in your mouth.
Look at all those boxes. Looking forward to seeing more of this tomorrow. Oh, this was great. I remember this guy. I think that Bob Gibson. I bought that Gibson off of him. Got some good prices on there. Really good cards in there too. He had a Seaver I really liked. You see there's a bunch of $15, $20 cards in there.
A lot of great cards.
Yeah, there we go. I just said that.
Primarily dealt with gold. And, so we had some of the unopened packs, so I started going through them. But
I've seen this guy a number of times over the years. Mookie, I can imagine tomorrow, which is the video I'm showing of my experience of going there. Look at that! Look at that stuff. Hold on. Let me see if I can stop myself from going too crazy. But Look at that score. It's 1947 New York Giants Polo Grounds. Got some cool stuff. At the time, I wasn't really interested in some of the oddball stuff, but look at that, man. Blue Panella. The pins. Some of the old school pins from the 80s. Oh, there he had the, I don't know if you saw that, but he had the Journal Americans there. Only if I knew, man. If I knew how cool those things were, I probably would have gotten them. There they are. Andy Carey and Irv Noren. Not in the world's greatest shape, but presentable.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Hope
looks like I bought the box. Let's see what else I bought. Oh, yeah.
Always trying to find tall boy. Some of them are like this one has a lot.
Yeah, so I bought these for like $5, I think, for all of those. Anyway, let me get out of this. Pretty cool to go to Stormville. So I didn't go at all the last year, like I said. So I'll be going there tomorrow, which I'm really looking forward to checking it out. And obviously cards are at the forefront of my mind, but I also love finding nostalgic items that remind me of my childhood. So it'd be kind of cool to see that. Just checking in the chat. Let's see who is here. Diamond Gems. Howdy. Andrew says the antique and flea markets are fun to watch. Don't really have too many of those near me. Neither really do I. I mean, being in the city, I guess I'm close enough. If you have a car, I'm driving to Stormville tomorrow. So, and really, I've kind of spent my budget on all the inventory that I want. So I'm kind of going for fun. And if I find some, like under $100 items, if I can collectively get some stuff for under $100, that'd be cool. If I can find a needle in a haystack, like the Willie Mays Coca-Cola tips, which I doubt I will, but you never know at these flea markets. Doug, hello, everybody. Hello, Doug. I have about 2, but most of them are junk wax or no cards at all. Yeah. Another MST3K. Where are you going? Yeah, Stormville. That's where I'll be tomorrow. Baseball card fanatics love junk wax boxes. I mean, they're striking. When they're all set up on a table like that, how can you not want to buy a pack? The raw vintage is a culture shock to some of the West Coast guys. Is that the case? I mean, that's something that I would probably. I mean, like guys like John 3D 80s Kid and why am I forgetting his name all of a sudden? Greg. Oh yeah, Greg from Midlife. He's from the West. Pino Man. A lot of these guys. I think there's. I figured that there'd be a lot of some raw stuff out there. Is it mostly graded? Is that the case? Matty Ice Cards, what's up, brother? Thanks for coming by, man. And Mookie said you have been to Stormville before. I love it there. Yeah, it's a cool, chill spot. I mean, I enjoy the walking, getting my steps in, and going through, rummaging through antiques, man. That's fun to me. Matty, yes. Orlando, back and forth. Criterion Racer, hey, he's saying hello to Maddie, and hey, Lee, how's it going, man? Thanks for coming here, and I guess Lee just hit 400 subscribers, so I think, Lee's been doing this for a long time, and so please help Criterion Racer out. Let's keep his subscriber count going. Pastor Craig is here. What's up, Craig? Rummaging is good, yeah. Andrew is asking, what is your strategy when it comes to buying the pre-war cards? Where is a good place to start on a budget? So I'm not the greatest person to ask about pre-war because the only pre-war guy I collect is Mathewson. And let's just start there. I guess I'll give you my Mathewson suggestion because that's all I can really give you. I'm not really, I don't really dive deep into the pre-war stuff because I'm just not as familiar with it. I'm still learning. I'm still picking up things as I go. The Mathewson, if you're kind of want to get your feet wet with it, I'd say, some of the best stuff to dig into is obviously the stuff you can find more frequently. And based on what the T206 and the T205, those are to me are the two sets that kind of stand out the most in terms of being able to kind of soak your foot into the pre-war stuff. My Mathewson that I have here, I gotta, 1 second, I gotta just adjust this. There we go. So I bought this one early on. This is actually the first Mathewson piece I bought, is the T206 Piedmont with the white cap. And I bought this one raw, actually, funny enough. But I bought it off a reputable dealer and on eBay. Nevertheless, I submitted this, and of course I knew I was going to get authentic because it has a little chip, obviously the missing piece on the bottom and then the writing on the top. But it's a great card to kind of enter into, in my mind, especially if you're new to pre-war, which at the time I was and still am. But, I think that's probably a good set. I don't know if others agree. Others might, there's some other people that might give you some, that might give you some other sets to work on. But to me, T206 and T205 is a good starting point. In fact, hold that thought 1 second. I have something else I want to show you. Okay. So I also bought this book, and this is kind of, to me, it's like the Wikipedia of pre-war stuff, or of T206, is the T206, the players and their stories collection. This is a second edition, but in this book, it shares everything you need to know about T206, the Hall of Famers, the Southern Leaguers, I think there was like the minor leaguers, commons, and so forth. You can get this for not too expensive. I got the hardcover, which I got this as a gift for the holidays from my grandparents, and it's a great book. It gives you let me see if I could find like the very front of the book is all the Hall of Famers, and so like you have here's my guy Mathewson and Lajoie, some really, and you get some information on them, and they show all the different cards that they have from that set. So I think it's a great question to ask. There's some guys here. Orlando is an expert in pre-war. A lot of the guys that went to Strongsville were buying pre-war stuff. That was kind of just what they were really after. And I learned a lot about some of the sets that were coming out during that time, in the 1920s, like the Oxford confectionals, I think it was what they're called. And, it was really cool to learn about them, especially learning from like Dave Bluejacket. Him and I had a nice discussion on a lot of these sets and the history of them. And that's kind of what he was telling me. That's what he really loves is the card is one thing, but learning about the history and the origin and how that card came to be and why it's rare and potential, and kind of linking it back to the pre-war times and understanding why maybe somebody from Minnesota couldn't get a card that was made and that was only distributed in Pennsylvania because it's not like it is now where there's eBay, where there's shipping cards at that point probably were not something that's commonly done now. So it was kind of cool to learn more about that. I mean, can you imagine having to take a train? It's like you meet somebody from Minnesota on a vacation. They say, "Oh, these are really cool cards," and then you say, "Oh, I have this in my collection." I mean, that would be the only way to do it, is just coming across somebody in 1925 or 26 or 27 and being a baseball card collector, which we're going to go down the rabbit hole. So anyway, it's a great question. Pastor Craig says, you never know what you'll find at a flea market. Yes. And good question to pre-war. I'm learning as well. I'm definitely learning too. Keegan says he has 3 pre-war cards, trying to figure everything out one step at a time. There's no rush with that stuff. Awesome card. Thank you, Maddie. Yeah, it kind of fits with your name, Maddie. Thank you, Orlando. I feel like your advice would probably be more worthwhile than mine, but I appreciate the kind words. Looks like a good book, and I appreciate the advice too. Absolutely, Andrew. Yeah, pre-war. Another thing is that if you're not familiar with authenticating pre-war, which I'm definitely not, it's best to buy graded first, without just to make sure you're not gonna get um, you're not gonna get duped by somebody who may not know that they have like a reprint or a counterfeit card, and that seemed to be the case for everybody at Strongsville. Every pre-war card that I saw that was being bought was not raw, with the exception, I think, of maybe one or two guys that bought some raw cards. But they bought it from very reputable vendors that have been doing this for 40 years. So, which in that case, I would probably feel comfortable with going that route. T206 is the most available, not too expensive. Yeah, that's kind of why I suggested that, because it's more readily available and you get a good price on stuff. I love taking the train. You and me both. I like taking the train too. Amtrak's a good one. So have the pre-war guys moved from vintage, or are they doing both? When you say the pre-war guys moved from vintage, or doing, are you talking about like more the golden age stuff, like the 50s and 60s? Because if that's the case, yeah, I mean, they're doing both. I saw there was, Greg, for example, from Midlife Sports Cards, bought some pre-war, but I think he bought some golden age stuff too. So yeah, I mean, I don't buy much pre-war anymore. I mean, like I said, I'm a Mathewson collector, so any stuff from his pre-war days, I'll always give it a look. But yeah, that's just kind of my connection with pre-war. I love seeing it. I love seeing like the Walter Johnson cards and learning about the different sets that are out there. I mean, yesterday I was learning about a set from Mangini. He was telling me about a peanut butter company that printed cards we were trying to figure out if they printed cards with like the jars of peanut butter that they sold, or you had to mail something in and get the card, or based on my, when he showed me the card that he bought, he was telling me, he told me what the set was. So I looked it up and I started looking at the history of it. And on the back of each card, it says that if you rip the label off the jar and you send in like you buy 2 jars of peanut butter, you rip the labels off, the company will send you tickets to go to a game. I think if I had to guess, this was 1935, 34. I can't remember what year it was, but it was cool. I mean, the set was distributed in Philadelphia, so obviously this was geared towards the Philadelphia Athletics, and this was the set to feature Richie Ashburn, which probably, if I had to guess, would have been 1938 or 39. I can't remember the name off the top of my head of the set or of the peanut butter company. I'd have to look it up, but it was kind of cool to learn about it, because I think from what it sounded like is that when you buy the jar, you get obviously the label, but somewhere I think there's a card in there, not in the peanut butter, but on the jar itself. So it's what was I going to say? I think you got a card per jar. So you might be lucky and get a Richie Ashburn. You might get another player as well. So it was really cool. Just catching up with everybody. So Orlando says, best to read about the players and decide which players you want to target. Yeah, that's kind of, it's one way to do it. Lee says he's a train guy too. Hey, Sensei, how you doing, buddy? It's good to see you. My favorite decades to collect have been the 50s to 70s, 1900s. Yeah, I mean, golden age, buddy. I mean, that's kind of in my wheelhouse as well. As, I mean, pretty much outside of the, some of the cards in the top row, everything is 50s through 70s for me too. The bulk of my vintage is for sure 50s and 60s, but when I move into pre-war, but most Hall of Famers are extremely expensive. Yeah, but there's some out there that you can find that are not too expensive. Definitely can find stuff. It just depends on what your budget is. And Lee, thank you, buddy. Hit the like button for Sammy. Milwaukee Braves have great cards from Milk Dairy, Lando, Lakes. Yeah. And Lee, thank you so much, man, for throwing me $5, man. That's pretty cool. I don't expect it, so it's not something there's no pressure into anybody having to throw donations my way, but I appreciate Lee for doing that. He's been a longtime subscriber and a longtime follower of my channel, and I've been a long-time follower of his channel as well. Lee has been doing this for far longer than I have, and I think it's only right that we subscribe to his channel because he's been doing this for a long time. And I put in a vote for him for the YouTube Sports Cards Hall of Fame because he does a variety. He does a lot of vintage, but he also does a lot of non-sports vintage as well. And I really like his channel because it's very laid back. And so thank you again, Lee. I appreciate it, man, for the $5. Mookie's like, you're thinning out that case behind you. I see gaps. Yes, to the disapproval of some, I did a crossover at what's it called? At Strongsville. I submitted my my Willie Mays Hires Root Beer card and submitted my Nolan Ryan Transagram. They're both PSA to SGC, but big but I set guidelines to I set guidelines where the Willie Mays had to grade a little bit higher than what it was graded at, and same with the Transagram. Almost kind of in a way, I mean, it might be silly, but kind of in a way to kind of match the value, because I know SGC is a little bit less valuable right now, but more importantly, the crossover was mostly for my collection, just to kind of keep some consistency. I like the way things look in an SGC slab, but that's just me. That's just how I like things to look. So yeah, both of those are at SGC right now, along with some other cards that I submitted. So yes, I'm not thinning out my collection. It's just for temporarily thinning it out. Andrew says the PSA SGC authentic versus an assigned grade PSA SGC one is an interesting topic. In terms of where the value is, I could see both arguments. So that's a great point. My favorite example of this sort of argument shows how subjective grading is. The best example of this happened, was it 2 years ago at this point, the National, when this is the first time I met Adam, Vintage Sanctuary. And Adam's one of the nicest people that you'll ever meet. You could tell, you can feed off of his enthusiasm for vintage. But he bought and he knows how much I love this story. He bought a PSA authentic Willie Mays, and the thing looked phenomenal. And I guess they didn't give it a reason and why they graded authentic. I'm guessing it was because they thought it was trimmed or whatever it may be. I mean, I think Adam has the full story, more so than I do. But he bought the card, and he did a same-day crossover. And when it came back at SGC, it was a 2.5. So, you got to love stories like that. Which when that happens, it's great, because you should never overlook an authentic card just because it has that A on there, or the authentic now. Doesn't mean that the card, I mean, grading the grades can be wrong sometimes. And in the case with Adam, it was a beneficial crossover. So, but in terms of buying authentic versus ones, I mean, yeah, I look at every card. I look at the condition of every card, and I try to assess, the value on it. And I think you can come away with some really cool cards, even in the authentic. Lake to Lake. I think Mangini posted a photo of a card from that set today with Puddinhead Jones. That's it. Yeah, you got it, Sensei. It was Puddinhead Jones from that set, from the peanut butter set. Him and I had a nice conversation about it, going back and forth. I would like to add New York Highlanders Yankees pre-war cards to my collection. There's plenty out there. Especially, I don't know if you're in the New York area, but definitely a lot out there, especially the Northeast, just being dominated with that stuff. You can find it, and you got Orlando's approval, so that's a nice start. If there's one thing about Strongsville show you would change or want to see different with the show for next year, it's a good question. I think I would like to, Brian Roth, or B Roth, and I kind of shared the same sentiment that you had a lot of the big time national dealers, like Stans and Craig, JD, and who else? Oh God, why am I forgetting his name? I bought my Bazooka Willie Mays off of him, but names are escaping me right now. But anyway, I would have liked to see more local dealers, some more local dealers that have prices on their cards that would be, like just more reasonable. I think there were some dealers that had some really good prices, but there were some dealers that their prices were really, really high and made it very difficult to buy from. And so yet you wind up going to these bigger dealers because they have a bigger, larger inventory, and I think they have more room, more marginal room on their prices. And I think that's why a lot of the guys, I mean, maybe I think part of the reason why a lot of the YouTube guys were buying from some of the big time dealers, because one, they're familiar with them, and two, they know what they're getting from them, and they have history. And not to say that buying from a local dealer at the show it didn't happen, because I know there were some deals that were made from some smaller dealers between the YouTubers that bought from them. But I think some more local dealers would have been nice. There were some Cleveland representation there, but that's one thing I think I would want to see different, is to just to kind of get some more local representation of dealers there. That said, the Strongsville set, like the setup and the configuration of it, smooth, very, very smooth. The lines were smooth. Like getting into the show, I didn't have to be first in line. Lines moved very, very fast, and everything was just streamlined. So I applaud those that are involved in setting things up at that show. The first time doing it too, at the in that ice rink, which was phenomenal, bar none. Stepping up from like a hotel ballroom to an ice rink was huge. Good, great question. I don't like the look of PSA slabs. It's personal preference. And Jacob, I'm in Wisconsin. Okay. I imagine there's a pretty, it's not too. There's some shows that happen in Wisconsin, in some of the bigger cities. So I think you will have some luck finding some stuff there, especially, and you're kind of in the vicinity of some of the bigger shows that happen. So even though you have to drive some distances to get there, you can get to some of the larger shows that occur in the, I guess, not the Midwest. I don't know what you call that state. Wisconsin's more like the northern Midwest, I guess, but nevertheless, there's stuff there. So as I mentioned, Saturday is the Stormville. No, tomorrow is my Stormville adventure, which I'm really looking forward to doing it. I think it's going to be a beautiful day. That's what I hear. So and then Sunday, excuse me, Sunday is my Milford show, and I'll be setting up at Milford. Now, I haven't recorded a Milford show in quite some time, so I want to take you through what the Milford show looks like. Now, granted, this is probably, if I'm looking at it, 5 months ago when I recorded this video, so I'm not really sure what I was buying then, but maybe I bought something. I can't remember. But I think I was set up at this show, but we'll find out. I'm going to showcase to you right now, and give you an idea of what my local shows look like. So hang tight a second. All right, guys. Some guys, rookies. This is Ned's table. He's the guy who promotes the show. I think there's a little. I mean, it's tough to buy these in that price. To be honest with you, it's really tough to pay $20 for a Yaz rookie. I mean, they're good. They're good-looking cards, but it's just tough to spend that kind of money. You're better off trying to buy it graded first. I bought from Ned before. So Ned gave me a nice deal on a Monty Irvin rookie card that ended up rating a 4. And I sold that Monty Irvin over to Mookie's buddy, Pete, who I'm always happy to sell to Pete. Pete and I have a good buyer-seller relationship. Ned had some good inventory pickups. So we might actually come across that Monty Irvin. This might be the video where I picked up the Monty Irvin card. I don't know if it's in this video. Nice looking Rizzuto for $49. Not bad. I think that one has sold though. Let's see if the Monty Irvin is in there. I can't remember if I took it out already and I'm just showing you the footage on after the fact. Huey Reese. I'll have to talk to Ned again. I might have to buy some more Bowman from him. He told me that he bought a huge collection. Rookie, thank you, buddy. Pete loves your style, so do I. I appreciate you guys too, man. I look forward to the next Philly show to hang out with you guys and walk around. There it is. Sorry, just had to rewind a little bit. I'm gonna pause it on the Monty Irvin. That's the card right there. So I bought that off of Ned. I think I don't know, paid like 115 for it, some odd number. And the centering on it is what appealed to me. There is a little like a print mark that goes across. So when I looked at what they graded at and what they sold for, my thought was, okay, if this grades a 3, I'll be able to make a little bit on it if I decide to move it. If it grades a 4, I mean, even better. And it did grade a 4. And so I brought it with me at the show. And I will say this, as coming from a dealer, I love selling to people that I know very well. Obviously, I mean, I think that makes a lot of sense for a lot of dealers if they know the person. So selling it to Mookie's buddy Pete, or definitely just I love selling to him. I sold him my Johnny Bench rookie card that I had, and this was the second card I sold to him, which was the Monty Irvin. After he came back from grading, graded a 4, 4.5. I can't remember, but like I mentioned, I love selling cards to people. Like whenever I sell cards to collectors that I know very well, it's just a little bit more. It kind of hits a little bit more. But as I get to know people, as I have repeated customers, you kind of get to know them more and more. I'm going to get to you guys. I see your questions in the chat. I'm going to get to them. So I just want to finish this video here just to kind of give you an idea of what Milford sort of looks like. I'll be setting up there on Sunday. So more Bowman. I have some Bowman stuff available at my next show at Milford. But Ned had some fun stuff to look through. He always likes when I do the recordings. Good stuff. More of his 59 stuff. You know, I'm gonna skip through a little bit of this. We're not. Sorry. Yeah, that Willie Mays. Like I mentioned, for $200, it's kind of tough to make that.
Yeah, a lot of set builders.
It's kind of tough to pay $200 for a Willie Mays Raw 61. I know it's a good card, but it's tough to pay that price. I think Ned would have come off a little bit on the price if I were to ask him, but yeah, just a tough one to buy for that price. Even
Buying the complete set? I'm sure, yeah.
good card though. It's a nice one. Just a little bit off center for $200. I mean, I understand why he priced it the way he did, but it's a little
right
to sell. That Ernie Banks was not bad. I don't know if you guys feel the same way. Spending $200 on a raw card, it has to. I think it depends on the raw card. Got some good stuff in there. Let me skip ahead some more. Give you guys. This is all net stuff, but there we go. Some graded stuff. Some raw stuff as well.
Okay, so I lived in Shreveport for a couple of years.
Not a bad price. Not bad price. A little bit high. Somewhere a little bit high.
So I got to watch his games on television. Or listen to them on the radio.
Either they're high or they're right on the price. Anyway, some glare. Everyone loves glare. Yeah. Anyway, that is the Milford show. That is coming up. So, yeah, it's Sunday. If anybody here, that I have 31 people watching, but if any of y'all in the chat or watching are in the Connecticut area, New Haven area, I definitely suggest coming to check it out. I think it's like $1 admission. It's a small show, but it's gonna be if you're into vintage, myself, I'll have some good inventory. There's a guy there who also sets up as well. The names are just drifting on me for all of a sudden, but there's a couple of vintage guys that are set up there as well. And it seems to be growing a little bit, so it's kind of nice. So let me go back in the chat. Because I know there's some questions that were coming up. Andrew's asking, are you going to the Fanatics event at the Javits Center in July? I saw it was coming up. I probably should check it out just one day. I mean, it's a subway ride away. I figured it's going to be primarily modern, but I probably should check it out. I hear it's probably going to be huge. Ken asked me, what was the highlight for you at Strongsville? Probably, honestly, hanging out with everybody was one of the bigger highlights. I mean, listen, I like going to the shows and walking around, and it's kind of great. The Strongsville show was great because I was bumping into everybody, and that's fun. The National doesn't really give you that sort of feeling of, because when you're at the National, you're not bumping into anybody except strangers, which is fine. But at Strongsville, I was bumping into everybody. It was impossible not to. So that was always fun. Let me see. I guess also, I showed you guys these cards already, but the Bazooka was one of the other highlights as well. Yeah, the Bazooka Willie Mays. Really nice looking Bazooka. One thing that, I pivoted very, very quickly when I noticed that there were no Stahlmeyers, when there was no 4x5 Nolan Ryans, and there were no super stand-up Laughlins. I was like, all right, I do want to find something. I have a very healthy budget. I'm like, let's find something that's not too expensive. And when I say not too expensive, I say that loosely. Because this turned out to be a $1,400 card. I didn't mention how much I paid for it at the time, but it's an expensive card. Don't get me wrong, but compared to the Stahlmeyer, compared to this Nolan Ryan 4x5, actually the Nolan Ryan 4x5 would have probably been about $1,400 as well, maybe a little less. But anyway, I bought this one, and this has been on my radar as well. It just hasn't been on the forefront, but it has been. And so for the price I paid, I think it was $1,400 is what I paid for this. Very worthwhile card in my mind. So finding that card was a highlight. Actually, finding this one was kind of a highlight too, because I don't think anybody knew about this set. And the San Francisco Call Bulletin, it kind of looks like the New York Journal Americans, actually. And this is Cepeda's rookie year, and this card goes for less than his Topps 58. So that was kind of cool. And also I think that came from Craig Halpig, his table, and he said that it came from his collection, which hits hard. Yeah, hits home. So Orlando thinks the highlight is me imitating Mangini. Also definitely true. I gave a lot of guys some good chuckles whenever I did the Mangini impersonation. It might come out here potentially. And Mookie says, Pete loves your style. And I appreciate that, Mookie. I try to be just as chill as possible when I'm at the shows and I'm setting up. And I feel like my prices for cards and I think they're pretty fair. And I love shooting the breeze with you guys when you guys show up. And the fact that you guys bust each other's chops so much is just so much fun. I love that. I didn't realize how expensive the Topps 52 Pee Wee Reese was. Yeah, I mean, because of the mantle elevates that set, the 52, any of the other cards are just elevated with it. So kind of just that rise. Sensor Domino, very nice pickup. Thank you, buddy. And Ken asks, for vintage card collectors, do you feel like you get better deals at Strongsville or the National? It's my first time at Strongsville, so I think honestly, if you know somebody, if you have sort of like an in, you can get some deals. You get better deals. It's kind of tough going in, not having a prior relationship with dealers in terms of buying. So the National thing is going to be more difficult. The Strongsville is more kind of just focused and vintage driven. So you really have to grind it out at the National and go to and check out every possible table, which is a lot of work. It takes more than one day. So probably Strongsville. I'm going to go with that. Craig agrees. Tough decision for $200 for 61 Mays. Yeah, I mean, it's I know that the dealer Ned, I'm sure he would have come off a little bit on it, but even then, it's just a tough card. If it was like if it was like a 59 or a 58 Mays in that condition, I think that would have kind of raised more curiosity in terms of buying it raw, but it's tough. Comment of the day, but how much are you wanting for the 59 spawn you picked up at Strongsville? I can showcase that. Let me see if I can find it. It's a good looking card, so I have to find it here. Organize it by year, so that should be a little helpful to find it. So the spawn card, now bear in mind it might look like a lot, but the condition, I'm asking 50 for it, but it's a very nice looking Warren spawn, very gradable worthy in my opinion. So $50, and then if we do shipping, it would be 55. So, but it's a very nice looking Warren spawn. Let's see. Greg Morris model, the raw cards go for top dollar. Yeah, generally that's what happens. Greg Morris cards kind of command a higher. It seems like they always go for a lot more. Duke Snyder, Casper's favorite baseball player. Who are you asking about the 59 spawn? Yeah, I think he was asking here. Sammy. Okay. I'm not in the air, but my wife's sister and her parents live in Cheshire, Connecticut. Too bad I'm not there visiting. Yeah, I'm always there, man. So I'm not sure where Cheshire is compared to Milford, but I'm usually there. They have the show once a month, so I should be there. And I also do, sometimes I'll do some of the other shows, like in Trumbull. I'll do that show as well. Orlando, yeah, the maze is beautiful. I remember you just admiring it. And if there's one thing you want to do, if you're going to the National and you buy a really special card, show it to Orlando, because Orlando, and I think every single time you show him a card, it's as authentic as it gets. He will give you the authentic love of like, wow, that is a great card, and you'll get it every time. And he's not blowing smoke up into you. He's genuine. So yeah, Orlando will find you first probably, but in the event that he doesn't, if you buy a card at the National, show it to him at the YouTube night, he will love it. Doug says, very nice card. Thank you, buddy. Super happy with my recent SGC return. My dad's baseball thrills got a 6. Wow. $40 for it, 91.92. That's a great return. I like that call bulletin. There's something eye-catching about that, about a card that's not normal size. Yeah, I have a bunch of them. I actually busted them out for tonight. I figured that would be fun to show you guys some of my more recent stuff. So you just saw the 2. It's a good, see, that's very nice. Yes. What is your Grail card at the National this year? It all depends on what the budget's going to be. The Laughlin Super Stand-Up is probably more reasonably priced. And I think if the Strongsville didn't have it, the National might be tough to find it too. But big but, there are some dealers that deal with very rare and oddball commodity items. So I think I have a good chance finding something like that there. Let's see, what are some other hot ticket items that I want? I think the 4x5 Nolan Ryan could be achievable. There's also a another 67 postcard that I had no idea about with Tom Seaver. So, I mean, obviously I need to find something like that. So that's definitely on the radar. What else is on my, inventory pickups will probably happen. I mean, I have a nice healthy stack that will guide me towards the national this year that I've already priced out, and I've given different scenarios in terms of how much I can sell them for and how much I can earn from them and profit and so forth. So I've done my homework. Anyway, going back to Diamond Gem, he says, I like the Cal Bolton. There's something eye-catching about a card that's not normal size. I'm glad you mentioned that, because I have some non-normal, I have some oversized cards, and I'm going to show you because I've shown these before, but maybe you haven't seen them, Diamond Gems. I don't know if you have. Depends on how many videos you've watched of mine, but yes. William Chappell, that's his name, William Chappell. I bought both the Bazooka from him, and I bought the New York Journal American from him. Two great maze cards. Different years, obviously. 5 years apart. 54 versus 59. But oversized nonetheless. And the New York Journal American, this was like the one card I wanted from that set. I don't care about building the set. I actually have a lot of the cards, a lot of the more common guys. And I've submitted a Monty Irvin Journal American Raw. I submitted one at the Strongsville show, so I'm really hoping I can get a nice return on it to kind of fit nicely with it. But I might end up selling it. We'll see. Oversized card. You guys know about this one. This one gives me Seaver face. But yeah, this is my new favorite Seaver card. It's hard. I mean, listen, the Transagram is phenomenal. I love the Transagram, but man, this one hits home. I love this one. This postcard is phenomenal. I didn't realize, I mean, I think Mookie told me this was the Shea Stadium. I was kind of surprised. I thought it was like the spring training where they did a lot of their photographs for cards. And I love that it has a Mets logo on the back. That's just so cool. There's some that don't have the Mets logo, which I think are a little bit more rare, but I like having the Mets logo back there. I also love the little cultural connection. Let's see if I have this one. Rheingold, either you have it or you don't. I love the cultural connection to this card. Obviously, Seaver is the focus, but yeah, nice stuff, man. Nice oversized, some oversized love for you. Let's see. So Andrew says, so you met a lot of YouTubers at the Strongsville. Was everyone pretty much what you expect them to be, or anyone different from how they appear on camera? I think everybody was fairly consistent in terms of their behavior and how they react. I think Greg and Darren, hanging out with those guys, I mean, they do obviously their collaborations together. So, it was kind of cool to see them out, kind of out and about and outside of the camera, and how much they bust each other's chops. And, they're just, I mean, they're very friendly and, just very approachable and easy to talk to and hang out with. And it was kind of cool to kind of joke around with them, get good laughs. Those two stand out. Now, I mean, Mike Petty just got here now, but Mike Petty, what a sweetheart. Honestly, the biggest sweetheart. I think Mike Petty loves being able to have the ability to make everybody really happy. I think that's one of his strong points. Is he loves this hobby, and he wants everyone to kind of enjoy it with him. And it was his mannerisms were infectious. Let me put it that way, in a very good way. It was good. I sat next to him for one of the lunches that we had, and it was great to kind of just share a lot of good laughs, and absolute sweetheart. So I will say that about Mike Petty. Orlando is, as much as he is on camera, when you see him in person, his his personality just explodes in a good way. I always say he's the liaison of the vintage hobby. He connects everybody together, both those that have been in the hobby for a longer time and some that are just kind of getting into the whole YouTube mix. So yeah, I think, and then Scott, Reindeer Studios, super quiet, but good heart, really good heart, and him and I had some good talks as well. So I think everybody is pretty as authentic as they are in camera. You get enough beer and liquor into people. I mean, things can change on a dime. So it's a good question. 71 Milk Dud Seaver has the Seaver face as well. I think they use the same photo, if I'm not mistaken. Do you have any Seaver in a USI uniform? I don't think I do. USC uniform. I don't think I do. I don't know if there were cards printed out when he was in college, but if there is, you got to let me know. I love Oversized, especially pre-war. I got some pre-war stuff to show you. This is really oversized. Pretty cool, right? I love this stuff. The Durham Duplex Razor New York Giants schedule for the year. And it has Maddie on the front and Maddie's endorsement in the middle. And then you got some cultural love with Durham Duplex Razor and then schedule on the back. 1913. Only one that's graded. Pretty cool. No transograms in Steubenville. There was literally none. I think they're just dealers who didn't bring them out because they didn't think it was going to sell, but they didn't realize I was coming. So there you go. Rheingold is my beer, the dry beer. That was their song. It's actually delicious. Do they still make it? Probably not, right? Petty's here. Yeah, Petty. Petty's hair was much more luscious in person than it was. Not from my experience. I didn't run my fingers through it, but I imagine somebody did. I believe that. Happy Friday, fun day. Happy weekend starter. What's going on, Sammy? Still taking family stuff, but wanted to stop in. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate it, man. It was fun meeting you, Jason. Jason's also as authentic as it comes. You watch his videos, you kind of get the same vibe from him in person as well. So Jason's very chill. Sorry, I had to refill here. Petty's a legend in his own mind. I see Petty, the king of the non-centered backs, is here. What is up, my handsome friend? That's Chris Missouri is the mayor of Strongsville. Orlando is the hobby mayor. That's definitely true. Actually, let me go back to that. I think Greg labeled himself as deputy mayor or something like that of Strongsville. So he ranks number 2 behind Chris. Don't forget Uncle Orlando. He connects everyone. Yeah, that's what I was saying. He's the liaison. Doing fantastic and amazing. Just mirror image of you. Yes. Best thing I noticed at Strongsville, no hobby snobbery. No, not too much. I got to FaceTime with Mookie. Is that the first time you saw his face? I wonder. He doesn't show his face ever. I have a photographic memory, perfect, of Mookie, but I'll keep that secret because he doesn't want anybody to know. He's forever. For his sake, he probably wants everyone to think he's like AI or like a robot or some sort. A lot of love going around, it seems. Didn't matter. Big collectors, smaller. Everyone treat each other with respect. Yeah, that's definitely true. I only show hands. Mookie's a hand model. If anybody wanted to know what he does for a living. Did you get your Gil Hodges from Steve Wilk through Greg? Yeah, that's right. Greg bought the Gil Hodges. He did a FaceTime with you at the show. And then Greg came up to me while I was filming. And he was like, hey, guess who it is? And then all of a sudden, Mookie goes, whoa, which was the truth. Why is Strongsville only once a year? I know that is true for the national, but aren't most shows semi-regular throughout the year? Most are. So Philly show happens, I think, like 5 times a year. County Center shows happen, about the same. Some of the more regional shows, yeah. It's a good question. It's possible Strongsville could do it more than once, but I think that's kind of what creates the lure of Strongsville, is what makes it special, is that it's a one-time-a-year event where a small town like that could bring out some of the big guns in the vintage hobby. So yeah, I think it's possible you can do it more than once, but I think the kind of what I think it would take away a little bit if they had it more than once. I also don't know if the same amount of YouTubers would come out for that more than once. I think I would only do it. Probably me. I'd only do it once, but who knows? When Sonny is beating up Carlo in The Godfather, there's a big rifle sign in the background. That's a good connection. Sammy, who is the jester of Strongsville? Petty. I mean, Petty by far. He made everybody laugh. So it's I think he was now jester can be used in various ways. I look at jester as being someone who was like making everybody laugh and making everybody just love being there, and Petty was great. So I have to give Petty the crown for that one. I'm writing everything out in Chat GPT. I bet you are. That Leighton Sheldon was the most standout fish generally. Oh, it's very dickish. Kurt's card care was nicer. Okay. I'm going to plead the fifth on all that. Mike, the box sitting next to me, going to open it as soon as work is over. Ooh, that's fun, man. That is a lot of fun. I would say Petty or Bob Boozle. Was Bob... Yeah, well, I don't know if Bob Boozle was there. The jester left Strongsville with King's Ransom. Yeah. Well, if we're talking about King's Ransom, then Petty left with... that's probably Petty, because he left with a lot of good stuff, man. He dropped some serious dough. Cool to catch up with everybody. Yeah, this is cool, man. We got 29 people in here. Got some good names. Got some good chat going. That's pretty cool. I'll show you some other cool stuff as well. Some oversized stuff. Obviously, Seaver face. There you go. Here's some more oversized stuff for you. Figured you guys. Oh, look at that. Finding this Christy Mathewson. Found this at the Philly show. Obviously, graded authentic because it was altered, because it has paper loss. Probably someone had some tape on this, but I didn't care about that. The only thing I cared about was making sure that this card was not perforated, and it is very much intact. Connie Mac All-Stars, 51. There's some big names in this set, too. Some really big names. 360, he wants to see the Seaver again. This one? Seaver face? Great group of discussion. Yes. And Petty loves the Connie Mac All-Stars. Yeah, man. Me too. As you know, player collector is the only one I really cared about. There are some big names in there, but the Mathewson is the one I wanted. So, yeah. Oh, 360 wants to see the postcard. Okay. Happy to show that again. Yeah, the postcard. The focus kind of sucks right now, so I don't know. Oh, there we go. Get a good look at it there. PSA 5. I didn't bring this one with me to cross over. I think if I were, I'd try to aim to get a 6 on it with SGC if I were to do it. But I didn't bring it with me. Maybe the National, I'll bring it with me there. But I think it will fit. I think I can get away with paying the $15 fee probably get it not in an oversized. Speaking of oversized, yeah, look at that ruler. You guys know how much I love the basketball rulers. This one I picked up for $400 a while ago, and I tried buying another ruler at Strongsville, but I got shut down. It was right before we left. Brian and I had a good laugh about it in the car, but Brian was like, I think Brian was actually more offended at what happened than I was, but I'll save that for another day. Not offended with me or anything, just offended with what happened when I tried to buy a Dave Bing 69 ruler on Sunday at the show. I bought it. I tried to buy it from a dealer who had it listed for $45, and it was a really nice looking ruler. All right, I'll tell you. So I tried buying it for $45, or he was selling it for $45, and so I looked at. There was not too many comps of it. It's Dave Bing. I mean, listen, he's a Hall of Famer, mayor of Detroit, probably a big name there, but in terms of rulers, it's not a huge name. So I offered him $40 for it, which I thought was fair. I mean, for $40, it's $5 off. It's like a little more than 10%, but he came back with like $42 for it, and I thought, all right, this is, I really just want to pay 40 for it. I know I don't know, it might sound a bit, for some it's like, okay, I'll do 42, but for me it's just like that was kind of my threshold, and I thought that would have sealed it, but I decided, I was like, I'm not going to do that. And so Brian and I walked away. We were in the car, and we were in the car for like 7 hours. And like right at the beginning of the trip, we're just talking about the ridiculousness of coming back with, trying to split hairs, but maybe it's on me. I don't know. Anyway, I didn't get the Dave Bing ruler. I was trying to get one, but because everyone kept telling me, hey, there's some rulers out at the show. And so the Dave Bing one caught my eye because I didn't have that one. Actually, I'll show the rulers that I have. Why not, right? This is the star, some of the stars. Wes Unseld and Wilt the Stilt and Elvin Hayes. Look how colorful these guys are, right? They're so nice. They're so nice. They're some nice looking rulers. Next stack. What do I have here? Willis Reed. I got this one. This one I got at the National this past year. Got that. I got to pay a nice price for it. Earl of Pearl Monroe and Billy Cunningham. Hall of Famers. Let's see what else I got. Vintage basketball. Who doesn't love vintage basketball? Yeah, they're Gail Goodrich, Jeff Mullins, and Gus Johnson. Kind of love some of these. I got two more of these top loaders for you. The big one here, man. Jerry Lucas, the Big O, Oscar Robertson, and John Havlicek. John Havlicek's rookie year, by the way. And Jerry Lucas, well, not his rookie year, but his the first year card, so to speak. John, Hondo, Jerry Lucas, and the Big O, Oscar Robertson. And the last one, which I was going to put Dave Bing into in here with Walt Frazier, but alas, just couldn't get it done. So Walt Frazier is still alone in here. So nice little set of some Hall of Fame, mostly Hall of Famers. Okay. Catching up with the chat. Andrew is definitely using ChatGPT to come up with these questions. I just have good questions. Sammy's words, not mine. He does. Andrew does have really good questions. That's a nice Seaver. Yes. This bad boy is staying with me, man. Staying here. Bought this off eBay. I was having a panic attack because I thought I wasn't going to get it at the price I offered, but he took it. The guy took it the next morning. I was like, should I just buy the card, or should I do the buy it now, or should I make an offer? And I made the offer, and it was just sitting there for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. And all of a sudden, next morning, I got the notification in my email that the offer was accepted. Bam, good card. Yes, that is true, Andrew. What about petting that Seaver in the 8x10? Putting. I thought it was petting. What about putting that Seaver? Yeah. Are you talking about the Seaver face? It's going to cost me $50 to do it, so I didn't have the heart to do it after spending a lot of money at the Strongsville show. But maybe in the future. For now, Seaver face stays raw. Rulers are tall like Sammy. Yeah, it's very true. If you guys haven't met me yet, I'm 6'4", very tall. And let's see, you should have met him in the middle at 41. Oh God, no. It would have been if you were there, Mookie, I probably would have done it. But Scott ought to make. That is super cool. That would be a cool concept. I would love that. But Scott's busy, man. I can't take him away from his t-shirts. He's doing a killer job at that. It's a great idea. I would definitely buy a Sammy Ruler. Yeah, that'd be cool. maybe I'll just make one. I might make one of, do something and make one of myself. We'll see. All right. Killing it, man. An hour and 15 minutes roughly. And got a good crowd going. Thank you guys so much for sticking around. Do you guys want to see the new inventory? I know I went through it really fast in my recap video, right? Yeah, the recap video. I went through the cards really fast, but I figured I'll show you, show you some of the stuff I picked up because I was going bam, 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 like one card like really quickly. But I'm trying to see if I have any more oversized cards that I can show you. I mean, I've shown this a million times, but I love showing it every time I can. You guys know the story about this? Yeah. This comes from the collection of Orlando, A Collector's Dream. We're now 49 Leaf Premium buddies. Now, if you don't know the story about the Leaf Premiums, I'll share a story with you. I learned this from Orlando. As you know, I'm a Matty collector, and Mathewson is part of a subset that was offered from 49 Leaf. Now, Orlando, you can chime in the chat if I'm telling this wrong, so bear with me. But when you buy the box of the 49 Leaf at the bottom of the box, or if you bought, I'm going to mess this up, at the bottom of the box, or if you bought 10 packs back or something like that, like the 10 packs of the wrappers or something like that, you would get one of these cards. And so there's a number of Hall of Famers in the set, and I think there's like 3 variations of a Babe Ruth. And so you get one of those cards in the mail, I think. And so they became a tougher set to find, a tougher set to get. So there's not that many of these Leaf Premiums that exist out there. And so for full transparency on this, I traded a Sandy Koufax rookie and an SGC3 plus a small cash kicker for this Leaf Premiums, Christy Mathewson. There's not that many that are graded out there. Orlando has one that's in a 5. He traded this 3 to me, and I love everything about that trade that was made. Orlando and I have Orlando chimed in. Let me see what he said here. 1 per box, like a box topper, but that's how it worked. But on the bottom of the box, every box had a different card. That I guess I wasn't sure if it laid flat or folded or what, but yeah, it's a really cool piece nonetheless, and one of my favorite oversized cards that I have in my collection. Now, before I show you the next thing, let me just do some legwork here and get some facts for you on the last piece, oversized piece I want to show you. Okay, let's get some info on this. All right. So, the 1912 S81 Silks of Christy Mathewson. What a great set this was. Number 108. I bought this at Garfield. One of my early first shows. I bought this off of Harry Kolb. He's a dealer at the Garfield show. And so the history of this, 1912, I'm going to butcher the name. The manufacturer says I think it was like, I don't know if it stands for South or S. Anargyros. I'm going to butcher it, sorry. Size is 7x9. Price guide, now, I don't know how up to date this is, but let me just showcase it while I'm talking about it. The common player can go from 1,000 to 3,000. Star player 2,500 to 6,000. Ty Cobb is 6,000 to 15,000. Walter Johnson 5,000 to 12,000. Tris Speaker 2,500 to 8,000, and that's in excellent to near mint condition. Let's go down here a little bit. These tobacco premiums are actually baseball players designed on satin, as it reads on the gift slip. They're issued as a special premium by Helmar Turkish Trophy Cigarettes in 1912. The S81 satin collection was part of the very same promotion as the L1 novelty leathers, which shares the same checklist on the gift slip shown below. Let's see. As the presents listed on the gift slip below, one baseball player designed on satin could be obtained by mail in exchange for 20 gift slips, which were packed one per package with Helmar Turkish Trophy cigarettes. For the return of 50 gift slips, you receive 3 satins, 80 gift slips or 45 baseball satins. And the offer was good until June 1st, 1914. Let me show you. I'll bring that page that I'm looking at up so y'all can see what I'm looking at. I think it's a cool page. Hamilton King designed it and featured sketches of 25 celebrated baseball players. 20 of the 25 drawings are the same used for the T3 Turkey Red Series issued in 1911. Of the 25 baseball players listed, 16 were inducted into the Hall of Fame. The last name, as you can see, and the team name are below the illustration. There you go. And this is the list. And this looks like these are the gift slips. I can imagine these are probably tough to find as well. But I haven't dove in too much into this. But pretty cool. Pretty cool. So, yep, that's where these come from. Let's check in again with the chat. So Diamond Gems asked, do you ever film your table at a show? Sometimes I have. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But I'll do it this weekend if you're interested in seeing. Okay, that's right. Yeah, we talked about that. Hey, John, thanks so much for coming, buddy. Fellow For Collectors member, 3D80s kid. Definitely throw him a sub as well. He's my fellow comrade in the For Collectors world. We received some really cool news that for the For Collectors channel, which I don't know if John wants me to share here, but if he wants me to, he can tell me in the chat. Otherwise, we might save it for future time. I'm sure you told the story, but how did Christy Mathewson become your pre-war guy, Sammy? Pretty straightforward. I like the story that he has. Very humble, but very just a very humble guy. Very honorable, it just his baseball, his ability to pitch, and just being a pitcher growing up and hearing about his story was always something that kind of stuck in the back of my mind. Living in New York as well, there's a connection there. Plus, polo ground games that my family has gone to, I think there's a connection there as well. So that's sort of a very simple story. Nothing too glamorous, nothing too eye-catching about it, but pretty much I'm a New York guy for the most part. The store would give the purchaser of 5 packs the piece. I'm sorry, Orlando, are we talking about the S81 Silks or something different? John is here, or the last pack purchase would get it. Oh, we're talking about the Leaf Premiums, I think. Ken, who was the first player you collected? Consistently, like the player that I bought multiple cards of because I like the player was probably Mark McGwire or Todd Helton. Those two. We got 80s in the house 3D. Yes, we do. John is here. How you doing? Yes. Going back and forth a little bit. Impressed. Yeah, John is a great editor, so he does a good job. Went to the local card shop, got a few nice braves for the PC. It's very nice. For collection. Oh man, yeah. Mookie's here to 5 collectors. No, I can tell you that there's not going to be a fifth collector. At least I don't think there is. I've told a few people about the email we got. Fine with me. Okay, so I will share it with everybody. Favorites. So many, yeah, very easy favorites. So many great looking cards. 4 collectors will have 1,000 subs soon. Get the merch ready: hats, shirts, and pins. We'll start slow. Let's not jump ahead of ourselves. There's not a number 5 collector. So all right. So John gave me the okay to share the story. So 4 collectors. We received an email from one of the directors, I think. Excuse me. The beer's getting kind of creating some bubbles. So 4 collectors. So John manages the email, and he received an email from the director of Strongsville. Now, I don't know if John or Theo reached out directly, or it doesn't sound like it. I think the director found our channel somehow. Like I did some pre Strongsville videos, and John did the post Strongsville video recently. And so I think the director found us and was intrigued by the whole thing, and also kind of shared how it was really cool to see the YouTube vintage community kind of come out and really make a dent on that show. Chris actually made mention that he thought that at least $500,000 worth of cards were purchased just by the community alone, collectively, which would be crazy. But anyway, the director reached out and told John and said, "Hey, it was really cool that you're doing this, and we want to offer you passes for next year." And so I guess now what it's going to look like is all 4 collectors are going to be there next year. Hopefully we get Pepino, and let's see, Pepino, and yeah, I'm sorry, I'm looking at Orlando's comment. Pepino, John, Theo, and myself. This year it was Theo and myself who went, and it was great. And it looks like Orlando got the same. Gary, the marketing director, emailed me and gave me all access pass. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So loved your videos. So yeah, I mean, I think it's Strongsville. Those involved are, taking notice of the YouTube vintage community. Somebody has mentioned earlier, like, what are some of the highlights? Some of the cool highlights. It was kind of cool in a way to have people come up and want to take your picture. Like, I do this to have fun, but it's do the YouTube thing. But I never really thought it was going to stretch that far into people kind of treating you like you're like you're a YouTube celebrity, which didn't really kind of think of myself in any way. But it was kind of cool to meet some people, and I was flattered by people that wanted to take photos, because like they're going to show their friends and they're like, "Oh, that's Semi Fender," and they're going to be like, who's that guy? I don't know. But maybe they're going to show other people. I don't know, but it was kind of cool. But there were some people who came up to me, and it was really nice to exchange words, and people saying nice words about the channel, so that was kind of cool. So yes, so great. Congrats all. Congrats. It's cool. Now the hotel should comp you guys a few beers. Honestly, that hotel, you can just comp yourself the beers. It seems like that hotel was that hotel had a few leaks, but it was a nice hotel. I had no problem with it. A social media influencer. I don't think I'm an influencer, though. I mean, maybe if I've had some people say they buy transagrams now, but like I don't try to tell people what to collect. It's not in me. I just show you what I collect, and I tell you why I think it's cool. But I'm not telling you to go out and buy the card as well. Like, if you want to buy it, someone saying a 360 saying you influenced me to try and find that Seaver postcard. I'm glad I did, and I hope you do find it. But if you find something else that's cooler, buy it. If I get someone coming up to me, happy to meet me, I'm going to ask to take my picture with them as proof of my family. John, if you do that and you add it to your video, could you please edit the Rocky Balboa where he goes, "Yo, Adrian, I did it," where he screams? That'd be great for like a great contrast. Petty was a highlight, and meeting one of my first subs at Top Vintage. That was cool. That's a cool story that I hope Orlando gets to share. I'm sure he did already, but thank you. Who were the biggest influencers at Strongsville? Was it Mike Petty? Mike Petty was, I think Mike Petty was kind of an influence amongst the content creators, but outside of that, I don't think really anybody. Maybe some people went up to him because they've seen him on the Four Collectors channel or seen him on other channels, but generally speaking, I mean, he's more of an influence on us because again, it's just his infectious nature to making us laugh and to kind of enjoy the experience. I mean, that was just one of the biggest thrills. The biggest influences at Strongville. Everybody that goes there, they kind of like for me personally, I knew going in what I wanted, and so I kind of a lone wolf in that case. I kind of just find the stuff I want. It's kind of hard to say who's the biggest influences because everybody at least most people had a plan of what they wanted. So it's not like there was anybody else influencing their picks or choices. At least not for me personally. I mean, the Bazooka Maze was completely on me. And also the Orlando Cepeda was completely on me. I didn't have any outside influence telling me, hey, look at that, look at that. So, there's that. I don't know. I'm sure there were people that inspired others to get something. There were times where I helped, certain YouTubers price things out for cards they were looking at because, they want to make sure they're getting a good deal. So, like, I think Darren bought a card off of Ash's table, and I was looking at prices on VCP for him just to kind of figure out if the price was right. So, there's that. I guess if we're talking about influencers in terms of like viewership, I mean, obviously Mike Moynihan is up there, Greg is up there, Triple Crown. These guys have big followers, big following. They have huge followings. John Keating, I think, was there as well. So these guys have huge followings and viewers that watch their channel. So, sorry, I had to refresh there. My voice started crackling a little bit. But yes, I didn't make you look at transograms. You chose to look at transograms. Let's not get confused there, Keegan. Orlando, Dave, and Darren influenced. I'm not an influencer. I'm an instigator. Yeah, Petty. I don't know if that's true. I don't think you're an instigator. I think you're maybe a little bit, but not a lot. Not a lot. You're too much of a sweetheart to be an instigator. Yeah, Mike Moynihan's the biggest channel there. That's definitely true. Yeah, 9,000 subs. He's definitely growing. Scrapbook. Good evening, Sammy and chat. Great to see you. Everyone's card collection inspires me to keep collecting my boxing cards. That's cool, man. There's some, actually, there was a guy there at Strongsville. One of the first tables I went to was selling vintage boxing cards. You would have liked that. You should check out my video because I think I did record some of his table that had some boxing cards. Eddie says it best. We don't count subscribers, we count friends. It's very true. And Eddie will be at the National. I'm looking forward to seeing him. Influencer means most persuasive in my mind. Lone wolf is good, though. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think of myself as an influencer. I think of myself as someone as a showcaser, I guess. Someone who likes to showcase stuff. Influencing to me is like just trying to, being persuasive. And I don't think I'm persuasive in terms of, telling you, hey, this is a good pick. You should go for this card because that's the way to go. It's not every collector is the same. Mike influenced me to find better IPL cards. Yeah. Double D vintage baseball cards. I hate the word influencers. Dylan, that's because you are an influencer. So, hey, Dylan. I'll look for influencer synonyms. Thank you, Andrew. That would be helpful. No one should be influenced to do anything. That's very true. Don't buy cards. I just do it because I like showing and learning about cards and sports history. Yeah, that's definitely a huge part of it. There you go. My eye appeal rating is going up, up, up. Still low though. Mike's funny, man. Yeah. You're welcome. I would not consider any one of our friends influencers. No, I don't think so. There's that great Rage Against the Machine song, Bulls on Parade at the end. I'm not gonna say it here because it's not the greatest language, but it's like blank you, I won't do what you tell me. There you go. Be inspired, Dylan. Yeah. Bingo, Brent. Sam, you remember the day we talked about Dylan? When did we not talk about Dylan? Now, Dylan. So I don't know if I might have mentioned the story, but Dylan, when we had the get together at the Lowe's Hotel, so Dylan, I think, he's in the chat, so he knows I mean this in the sweetest way. Dylan is a firecracker in the sweetest way. He's very, very enthusiastic. Obviously, you've seen his videos, you've seen his collection. He's very passionate. But when you see him in person, that enthusiasm is elevated. So, yeah, Dylan is a firecracker, man. I remember when we were walking back over to the Sheridan, I think it was. He literally, oh, that's right. Mookie's telling me. Yeah, Killing in the Name of, that's right. Not Bulls on Parade. Thank you. So yeah, Dylan picked up like a little traffic cone, but the traffic cone was being used for like a wet floor sign. So he literally in the lobby with all the young kids around trading in the lobby, and picks it up and kind of like does like a bullhorn effect and does like a loud like that sort of noise in the lobby. And I remember everyone stopping. I'm like, Dylan, come on, man, you can't do that. So yeah, that's right, Dylan. We almost got struck by lightning. That was pretty crazy. We were running in the rain. It was pouring that day, and we're like, it was a good like 10-minute walk, but probably a good 5-minute run, and that's what we did. We ran across an empty parking lot near the hotel, and it was Dom, myself, Dylan, and there was one other person I can't remember. Was it Theo? Might have been Theo. I can't remember. But pretty funny. Let's see. I'm influenced to have another beer, turn up Tom Petty and barbecue before I hit the spa. That's sort of what I'm doing right now, but minus the Tom Petty, the barbecue, and the spa. I'm just kind of enjoying this beer. It's actually a hard seltzer. Either Mike or myself make videos. Maybe I give you guys too much credit. The influence isn't that strong. That's funny. Oh, God. Pocket full of shells. Not thought of that song in a long time. I saw Rage Against the Machine a couple years ago. Yes. Oh, man. So, yeah, man. Some cool times. I'm really looking forward to the National. I have to rebuild my budget because I bought a lot of cards for inventory. And so I'm going to show those to you now. I just need to make some space for myself. But, yeah, I bought a lot of inventory. To hopefully sell over the next 3 months to build up towards the National. And I've actually already priced a lot of this stuff out. So let's go through the stack. How does that sound? Do you guys want to see some of the stuff? John says 88 more days to the National. So that's roughly, I guess, like 2.5 months. Actually, less than 3 months, 2.5. 30, 60. Oh, no. Yeah, just under 2 months. I'm not doing my math right. If we average 30 days per month, so it's just under 3 months. Cannot wait. Neither can I. So, yeah, I'll show you some of the inventory that I picked up. More stuff. Yes. So let's start with this really nice looking Al Kaline 69. Look at that. This is Dylan approved centering, if you ask me. Back of the card looks really nice, too. So this will go on the table. Anyone know how to make money without selling your cards or having a job? That's get a job. So fired up. Dylan the Firecracker, man. I'm glad you're coming, man. I'm looking forward to seeing you again. So that's the Alkaline line that I have. Woo-wee, indeed. I can just hear it. Yeah, guys. Platelet donation. I was not expecting that from you, John. That's funny. That's really funny. That's pretty good, man. Stock options, very much gambling. I can drink this year. Awesome. I thought you drank last year. You're man. I can only imagine what happens with some alcohol in you. Here's a nice looking Bobby Cox. I'll have for my show. Got some fisheye, but pretty good. Here's the Raleigh man. Second year card. For whatever reason, Raleigh doesn't want to get in focus. I drank one a day. Okay. Raleigh fingers out of focus. This one's one of my favorite cards to sell because I think this one will probably move pretty quickly. But okay, there we go. The 63 Hall of Famers. All 5 of them. I think this one should sell pretty quickly. It did in the last time I had this card. It sold very fast. Love the 63 batting leaders with Mickey Mantle. I don't know why the other one got, this one can't get in focus, but the other one did. There we go. Pretty nice looking, right? He's pretty decent stat. There we go. Much better. I need that sold my OC version. What? What are you talking about there, Dylan? Next year I'll be ready to buy raw at Strongsville. Yeah, definitely. There definitely was a lot there, as Orlando was saying. Tons of raw at Strongsville. Here's a second Mantle batting leaders card. Really nice. This one I think was a lot nicer than the other one. I think this one's a tough one to find raw. Tough to find in centered, but nice looking 63 Roger Maris. I wonder if I should kind of transform and do showcase some cards for you in the Mangini voice. I'm generally, I don't like to, buy big lots of cards of stuff that I already have, because my goal is to, try to find stuff that I don't have. Try to get a card from every set, at least one. And I bought I was inspired to buy that peanut butter card of that really nice vintage set with all the Philadelphia Athletics, because I was having a peanut butter jelly sandwich, with jelly in there, some really, really good jelly, and I was like, there's got to be some vintage baseball pre-war cards that that were made and that included peanut butter. And lo and behold, there was. And so I dug deep and I found some cool cards. I found one cool card. And I was like, it's a short print too. And it looked really, really cool because, it was a pitcher. I think it was a pitcher winding up and, delivering fastballs. But fastballs of peanut butter, you know what I mean? So I went ahead and I bought the card. And I showed a photo to both Sammy and Orlando from a collector's dream. And so they had a lot of questions. They were asking me question after question. I didn't know the answer at the time, but I looked it up and I got all the information I needed. And lo and behold, that short print, super, super cool, super valuable. Philadelphia Athletics, but I don't, the value to me is secondary. It's all about the card. It's all about the card. So next time you go to a show and You see something that maybe I don't have? Let me know first before you buy it, because I'll tell you the truth, I'm getting pretty tired of seeing all these videos of cards that you guys have that I don't. So, that's right, Puddinhead. That's it. It was Puddinhead. All right, that's enough. I'm losing people. I'm losing people from watching this. I've went down from like 20, like from like 30 to 24. I feel like I'm losing people. So, Andrew says, sounds like Mangini, but to really dig deep, need to shave nunchucks, sleeves up the show, off the guns. Yeah, I'm gonna pass on that. I'll just stick with the voice. Thank you guys. Spot on, Mangini. Yeah. So, oh, Dylan, why'd you sell it if you need it? Was it off center? You said it was off center. You just okay. Well, I have one if you want to buy it. Oh boy. Let's see, what time is it now? 9:15. Oh boy. Anybody going to card shows this weekend at all? You know, because like I mentioned, I have I almost said Strongsville, Stormville tomorrow, and he sells it if it's 51.49. Dylan is a perfectionist with his centered cards. What type of parents name their kid Puddinghead? What type of parent names their kid Puddinghead? I don't get it, but hey, everybody's different. Mid-Atlantic show is coming up in May 18th. Where is that? Next week is the Pittsburgh show, card show in Evansville, Indiana tomorrow. I wonder if Garrett's going to be setting up there, because I know he's from Indiana as well. Pretty good size. Oh, the Pittsburgh show. I got to check that out. It's a little bit of a trek. I want to say it's like 5-6 hours for me to get to Pittsburgh. Silver Spring, Maryland. Yeah, I know. Silver Spring. That's where House of Cards is located. What's that? Miller and Huggins, I think. Huggins and Scott. No, that's right. Huggins and Scott. I love that shop. I love buying from that shop. I buy inventory from there sometimes because it's really good priced. I'll show you. Let me show you some of the highlights from this lot, from these like inventory purchases that I picked up at Strongsville. Let's see. Okay, so this Willie Stargell looks really nice. Well, if I could get it in focus, you would believe me too. But let's see. Come on. There we go. Look at that really nice 64 Willie Stargell. Here's the back of it. Really nice and sharp. Yes, my House of Cards, my local card shop. Andrew, I don't know why we haven't crossed paths yet, man. We'll have to hopefully do that someday. So that's a good one. Let's find. Oh, this one is sort of questionable. I don't think it's trimmed. I think it might be sort of miscut, but I'm not bringing this with me at the show. I'll probably grade it just to kind of get some certainty on it. But this Koufax 64 is very nice looking. Again, the focus is a problem. Let me see if I step back. Come on. What would happen if I get really close and give you Koufax face? Let's do this again. Koufax going in. There you go. So, I don't think this card is trimmed, but it's sort of weirdly miscut. It has a slope that goes down from the top. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's so subtle, but it's there and it bothers me. It's like right there. And otherwise, it's a very nice card, but it just slopes. And so I might send this in for grading to kind of get their perspective on it. But because the one thing I never want to do is I never want to sell a card to somebody that ends up being trimmed. Generally, I've done a very good job. I think I've done an overall good job at picking out cards that are good to go. But yeah, that one troubles me, and I would ethically, I'd feel really uncomfortable selling that card for the price that I have it set for. So I might hold off for now and wait before I bring that with me. And but you never know. If I do bring it with me, if I do put it in my display case, I will mention it every time, and put it so the seller knows, or the buyer knows, that if they buy that Kofax, that they're aware. So full disclosure. Let's see what other highlights there are from here. Here's a nice looking Alkaline 65. I thought this card looked really nice. Really good centering on it. If it came in focus, but for whatever reason it's not. So, all right, just gotta roll with the punches on that. I'm just gonna catch up with the chat here. Local show in St. Louis in May. That ought to be fun. Well, you don't know what it looked like, so it would be difficult, a bit difficult. Of course it would be, Andrew, but I mean, these are the sort of things we could coordinate. You know, we could say, hey, I'm going to be at House of Cards today. And if I'm in Maryland, which sometimes I am, we can coordinate that. Maybe going to Mid-Atlantic, don't know yet. Lou Rock. Hello, friend. Looking forward to hanging out with you at the National. Chantilly coming up to 2 before the National. I'm never gone. It's less than an hour from me. Yeah, it's like in Virginia, if I'm not mistaken. Hey, Lou. Sharp AK65. Yes, sir. Bro, are you gonna bring cards to buy at? Are you gonna bring cards to buy at the National? I'm ready to spend money already. Are you saying am I gonna bring cards to sell at the National? You ready to spend money? Is that what you meant? I'm a little confused by because I can't bring cards that I haven't bought yet. Anyway, yeah, I can bring stuff. If you're asking that question to me, then yes, I will bring cards with me. Yes, I'm drinking. Cheers, Lou. Cheers, man. Yeah, whatever I have left. If I'm gonna bring stuff with me, I have some graded stuff as well that I brought with me this time around. I didn't. I showed this in my channel, but I bought this off of Don Field of Dreams as well. I bought this from him. Really nice looking Alkaline. He knows how to pick them. Don Fields of Dreams. Alkaline rookie card. Look at that. Beautiful. That's a very high grade 2.5 in my opinion. No creases on this card as far as I can tell. No, not that I can see. Yeah, just has some wax on it, I guess, or dirt, whatever. But other than that, very nice looking Alkaline. Here's the back. Pastor Craig, what price on the 54K line? I paid $300 for this. What brew am I drinking? Tonight it's a Craft Hard Seltzer 2 Robbers Orange Mango. It's pretty nice, very refreshing. So the graded stuff that I have, I'll share with you what I have here. Here I have 69 Raleigh Fingers SGC 6. He's rookie. Got some pre-war kind of mixed in. Here's a Clark Griffith batting. Let's see what else we got. Jim Palmer, rookie card. There's a Tom Seaver, SGC 6.5. Some of the graded vintage that I have. Here I have a pretty nice looking SGC 3 of Willie Mays. Good centering on this. good low grade, low grade card with good centering. Got a Hank Aaron 68, really sharp looking card. A favorite among many collectors is the Frank Robinson rookie card. It's a really nice one. Why this one can't get in focus? There we go. Graded a 3.5, but it looks really nice. This one looks really nice. I've had some interest in this one, but I'm ready to move on from it. It is the Brooks Robinson. What a great card. Going from this one to his 58 is a real travesty. That card just, oh man, he went from looking like he was eating filet mignon to, some sort of liver dish. Everyone loves a good Johnny Bench. I think Orlando has this one in an 8, if I'm not mistaken. I think he still has it. 69 Bench, out of focus. That's the way it is. Here's another Clark Griffith T206. Trying to get it back in focus for y'all so y'all can enjoy it. There you go. Look at that. What a great looking card for him. You know, the great story about Clark Griffith is that a friend of his was a scout for the Washington team, and he scouted Joe Cronin, and Griffith thought Joe Cronin was a bum as a player, like wasn't that good. And many years later, Joe Cronin married Clark Griffith's niece. Imagine the awkward family dinners. And the last stack that I have with me, nice looking Tris speaker. It's creased up and beat, but nice looking one. Tris speaker. Here we have Joe Kelly with the Toronto team. There's Roger Bresnahan with the old SGC slab with his portrait. Who doesn't love a good second-year Willie Mays? Very nice Bowman 52. And here's his 56. I thought Dylan would like this. Even though it's in the old slab, centering on it's really nice. And finally, here is Bob Gibson. I found this one is a tough card to sell. Hey, Fisher Bike is here. Jason, what's up, man? Looking forward to seeing you at the National. I assume you're going. I don't think we've met personally yet, which that'd be cool to meet up. I don't know. I'm staying with at the National. I'm staying with Jake, our commissioner. I'm staying with Dom from Staven Sports Cards, and also Drew of Vintage Legacy is going to be crashing with us too. So we're not staying at the hotel that the YouTube guys are staying at, but we're like 15 minutes walking distance. So I look forward to hanging out. It should be a lot of fun. John says, speaking of influencer, just got my first offer to be one for my own channel, Fabric, which appears to be very open for price casual menswear. Interesting. Well-loved tobacco cards. Yes, Doug. I am a big believer in well-loved stuff. Working as always, yeah, I hear that. So start to meet up. Yeah, man, it's going to be a great gathering, I think. It's huge number of people are going to be going. So, yeah, man. It's going to be a good times overall. So, looking forward to it. And, yeah, like I mentioned, this huge stack of vintage hopefully will carry me through to kind of build up my budget for the National. So I'm aiming to have a certain number by the time the National comes up. let's see. John is saying, I was shocked. They sent me an email. We've been getting offers for collectors for a while, and they all seem scammy. Yeah, I've gotten some as well that were kind of like a little off. Didn't really take them too seriously. Andrew saying, let's hear for almost 2 hours, no guest MVP. I appreciate it. Hats off. Yeah, man. So this whole stack will carry me hopefully to the national. I have my whole lineup of shows coming up that I'm setting up at. I think I posted what's the word I'm looking for? I think I posted like a photo, a flyer of what my next shows are. Sunday, Milford, like I mentioned earlier. And then the following week is Fishkill, which thank God Fishkill's coming. You know, they're doing another show again because March April this month they didn't do a show because of Easter, but I think it was Easter, something like that. But Mike is doing another show. I love doing a show, having a table with Mike's show because I love driving up that direction, and it's always great because I can put a podcast on like Cracking Cooperstown and sit back and just kind of enjoy the ride up to Fishkill and set my table up. And Mike has a great deal of like $35 a table, which is really, really like a fantastic deal. And it's a small show, and you know I kind of like the smaller show vibe. And the people there are great. I've always had great experiences there. So the Fishkill show, and then that Sunday is Garfield again, which I'm sure I'll run into Mookie and good group of people. Jason's saying, same here. Been saving up for it. Got to collect as much loot as possible. What are you looking for, man? What sort of stuff is your? What are you aiming for to find at the National? Dylan says, is that basically your entire collection on the wall behind you? It is amazing, as I always love seeing it. You know, that's the stuff is kind of like the highlight, I guess. I would say most of it's like the highlight collection. I mean, those, I can't put oversized stuff in there. You know how much I like oversized stuff. So, like a lot of the oversized stuff, they have as much of an internal value to me as the stuff on the wall. So, yeah, great stack. Thank you, Orlando. Ready to start buying at the house. 52 top satch. That's cool, man. 53 top satch. Excuse me. I don't know if you're looking for a very low grade one, Jason. If you're looking for a very nice one, but I do have a 53 satch available for purchase. It would grade authentic, but it's raw. I bought it off of B-Roth a while ago, but I'll show it off here for you in case you do have any interest in it. You probably want something a little bit better, but yeah, this is the 53 satch that I have. Has tape and everything, but it looks pretty nice. It's just that it's trimmed. Unfortunately, you can see it on this side here. So, otherwise, yeah. And I give you a good deal on it as well. So, kind of, but obviously, if you're looking for something better, I completely understand. Because again, that satch would grade very low. I know for a fact, or not for a fact, but I have a good feeling. It's a secret's out. So it was a secret a second ago, and now it's secret out. I'll be looking for a beat up Wilson's Frank's Teddy. That'd be a fun one to find. I hope you do find that one. That's what I love. That set's really cool looking. It's just really, really beautiful looking cards with the hot dog packaging on the corner. It's really cool. I figured minus the oversized. Yeah. It's only so much space that I have. It's just like my little showcase wall of stuff. Jason's spending money before we get there. I love that card, but yeah, I want something a little nicer. No, don't apologize. I just figured I'd show it to you. Are you looking for something like a 2 or 3 or 4? I don't know. You tell me in the chat what grade you're looking for. Whoever trimmed that thing must have had his eyes closed. At the time that I bought it off of B-Roth, and at the time I was like, I just want to have a satchel card, but my collection has pivoted to wanting to what's it called? Pivoted to player collecting, like certain cards from certain players. And Satchel is no longer a player that I'm interested in keeping a card. But let's see, Jason, appreciate. I'm shooting for 4, but we'll settle for a nice 3. I'm sure you can find a really nice one at the National. There's gonna be. I'm sure there will be a lot of dealers that have that card. So you really have prime picking to find that Satchel in the grade that you want, in the condition that you want. So I mean, I don't think I need to tell you, what you need to do, because I know you're going to go in with a strategy in mind to find that card. You should trim it straight since it's already trimmed. I don't want to do that, Dylan. I feel like it's kind of, to me, it's a little deceptive. I'd rather just kind of leave it in the condition that it's in and not mess it up any more than it already is. I know it's not rare. I've always loved it in 1-on-1. Yeah, no, I mean, rarity doesn't matter. I mean, listen, Satchel Page cards to me are not as they're not as, there's not them. I mean, in terms of the grand scheme of it, there's a lot of, there's the 53 Satchel is out there, but also it's a highly desirable card. So that's what makes it special. So rarity, I don't think factors in. If it's special to you and it's special to collectors in general, I mean, put it this way. If you go out to an estate sale, for example, and you find that card, I mean, you're not going to walk away from it. No one's going to walk away from that card. Yeah, Orlando shares the same sentiment. That's not trim a card that's already trimmed. Very deceptive. Eventually want that too, and a nice 3. 800. So is it equivalent to 850 or a little less, a little more, give or take? Dylan causing trouble. I'm gonna be picking a pain sticker. Yeah. Well, you'll find like I mentioned, you'll find the one you want. That's how it works. I'm late on it, but how much did you have in the Bobby Cox? Bobby Cox 69 card. Let me see. This one I had $30 on it. Good looking Bobby Cox card. I think it's a good price in my mind. So, yeah. That is Mr. Bobby Cox. 3s go for 700 to 850. Yeah, I guess that's about right. I haven't looked at that card in a while as far as grades go. Are you looking to buy it with SGC, PSA, or do you not have a preference? Andrew says PSA and SGC aren't consistent when it comes to detecting trimmed and altered cards. It's also likely most of us have trim cards that were graded in our collections. Yeah. I mean, like I mentioned earlier, the story that I talked about was Adam Vintage Sanctuary bought a PSA trimmed or supposedly altered, well, not trimmed, but authentic altered 52 maze and crossed it over to SGC and it graded a 2.5. So, I mean, listen, they make mistakes. So that's just how it is. I like SGC better, but not picky. Yeah. Again, preference. But with a card like that, I think you probably would want to keep an open mind. You can always cross it over later if you want to. Went to 300 table show outside of Boston today. Tons of vintage. One guy had an SGC 10 rookie. Yeah, the Tom Seaver for 90,000. That's Ash. That's Ash's table. I bought one thing from Ash. So I'm slowly building up a relationship with him in terms of the cards. I bought the Hires Root Beer card of Willie Mays, which is I submitted for crossover with SGC. So I bought that. I think I bought it for like $950 off of him. He gave me a nice deal. But Ash generally has he bought a lot of cards from a lot of the YouTube guys at Strongsville, like a lot of cards for big money. So Ash, I think from what I gathered through the grapevine, Ash is very fair with his pricing. He was buying a lot. SGC is better than PSA for vintage veteran graders for alterations. All right, John. Have a good night, man. Thanks for coming by. Thanks for watching. And look forward to the next 4 collectors video. I don't know when my turn is up. I don't have much faith in any grading company due to not having AI-assisted technology. Scammers in the hobby are getting better at what they do, but we all have our opinions and preferences. Yeah, that's a whole other thing. I think, listen, I think with vintage, it's incredibly difficult for a scammer probably to come up with his or her own version of a vintage card. It's hard to kind of replicate the stock of like the card stock, and it's just kind of hard to get that feel. That's why there's so many, there's so many ways to detect an authentic card from a fraudulent one. You have the smell test. Obviously, people go by. There's people that say to put a flashlight through the card, but really, the things that you want to look for, and I'll just kind of give you my 2 cents on this. Let me pick a card that's. So I have an Ernie Banks 59 card that is, pretty beat up. I'm going to show you, but so at least if I can get this in focus for you guys. I don't know if I don't know if the light will hit it right, but there's a way to detect on the card if it has like the ruggedness that you would expect. Like you kind of see what the light reflecting. There's the card stock kind of gives that sort of ruggedness to it. It's not very smooth. The stock is kind of has that ruggedness to it. It's not a very smooth surface, as you'd come to expect with a card like that from that day. It's hard to kind of replicate that sort of effect in my mind to kind of get that sort of look on the card. Now, to compare that, let me see if I have something for you. Okay. Now here's a fake of a Terry Bradshaw card, and I hope I don't make a fool of myself here, but if you look at the card stock here, the reflection on the light is just very consistent throughout. It's like, the Terry Bradshaw card is far smoother. The reflection on the card stock does not really have that same look as the Ernie Banks. So when you see the Ernie Banks reflect, it has more of a ruggedness to it, whereas this is far smoother. You don't get that same sort of cardstock appeal that you would with like the Ernie Banks, where you kind of get the imperfections that you come to expect, and that's the truth. Whereas the Terry Bradshaw is too smooth, So there's ways you can detect it. I mean, that's when I saw that Terry Bradshaw card. I only bought that as an example because I knew it was fake, but I bought it as an example to showcase the differences, and that's just something I've learned over time. Let me catch up on the chat. I filmed Ash's table, bought my big card, Cash. Yeah, I filmed his table as well. He had a lot of good stuff. I'm with you on AI. Dylan agrees. Good night, Keegan. Take care, buddy. There are 2 scams, the altering, trimming cards, but also replacing card with counterfeit in the slab or using a fake label. Yeah, that's... Yeah, I don't know how you can do that so seamlessly. Crack the slab, put another card in there without affecting the material of the slab. I think people would sort of see through that. Yeah, Lou mentioned it. Texture. That's the key takeaway. The texture of the card. Thank you. Yeah. Yep. I like ruggedness. You and I both. Flashlight method a lot. That's one way to do it, but there's better ways, I think. I think the flashlight method is not perfect for every card. Yeah, it came out of the pack. Turn a corner how I want my vintage cards. I love them to be vintage, not perfect. Your thoughts on game use patch cards of grades such as Babe and Garrick? I don't have much thoughts on it because I don't know enough about them. So I know some people like collecting the stuff. That's not for me though. All right, so I'm winding down. It's like 9:45 now. I've been doing this for 2 hours and 15 minutes. It's been quite a showing of support. So I appreciate you guys. 27 of y'all, and I think we had as many as like 35, 36. So I really appreciate people coming by, saying hello, enjoying the live stream. Like I mentioned again, I will be at Milford on Sunday. I will be at Stormville tomorrow, going through the flea market. So I look forward to doing that. And I'll definitely do a recap. Probably if it's not Sunday, maybe Monday, but we'll see. Just depends on time. How much time there is to do things. So I'm pretty stocked on the inventory. So Stormville tomorrow is really just to kind of enjoy and walk around. Maybe find some things. Anyway, appreciate everybody coming on tonight, enjoying the live stream. 25 of y'all. I mean, that's pretty impressive. If I were to go back in time, it'd be completely different as far as the amount of people. But please, if you're not subscribed and you're watching this channel for the first time, please hit the subscribe button. Getting close to 2,400, and mean a lot to get as close as possible to that number. So 2,400, 24 primarily to celebrate Willie Mays, one of my favorites to collect. But thank you guys again. I will check up with you guys soon. Again, recap this weekend hopefully, and we'll go from there. So have a great weekend, everybody. Enjoy your card shows if you're going to one. If not, happy buying, happy selling. Take care.